is not because I don't want to speak the language. Honey, I do. I'm not that good at it. Sebenarnya kalau aku bener-bener paksa mau ngomong bahasa Indonesia tuh aku bisa, but it's not.
Medok banget ya?
Kaget loh.
Wait, please take that out.
We have big ass pools, while some schools don't even have pools.
I don't have pools.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not normal thing.
Normal to have pools in your school.
Yeah, you guys don't have a swim team?
Yeah, what about your swim team?
We don't.
Gue juga denger nih kalau dari anak-anak inter, banyak dari mereka tuh yang nggak sadar kalau mereka tuh sebenarnya privilege.
Iya kayak ini normal gitu ya.
Kira-kira normal kan enggak nih?
I agree with that. Itu gue setuju banget sih. Banyak yang nggak.
Gimana kira-kira?
I mean, I was 2 years old when I found out that not every school has a pool. Here's the thing about international school kids like us, like we live in such a bubble, we don't really get to experience the world outside of that bubble, and so we don't got that reference point to really like compare and contrast.
Iya.
Yeah. Looking back, I was stupid. I should have figured this out for myself, but like my mom for some reason just like never really told me like what she does for a living, right? No, and so I probably only realized that I had money and financial security when I got to sophomore year of high school, so like 10th grade. And when I was younger, actually, like a lot of the times when we like spend big money, like I remember my mom bought me like this big ass like box filled with like the entire Harry Potter book series, and and like back then it was like $114, and so like little old me, like I'm looking at $114 and I'm like freaking out because I went through a meltdown in the bookstore. If I don't get this, I will kill myself and I will die. I wanted it so fucking bad, but I was having such mad anxiety, like in fucking Takashimaya, Singapore, Kinokuniya, like. Is my mom gonna be able to afford this? Like, I don't want to put that pressure on her, but I want it so fucking bad that if I don't got it, I will like fucking die. Having a meltdown in the middle of the bookstore only for then my mom to check it out in like 2 minutes.
Funny. Wait, so you were freaking out over $114 while she was paying like $20K for you?
I don't even realize it, and my mom like she doesn't talk to me about like how much she making. Like I found out how much she was paying for just after I graduated.
Anak-anak internasional.
Sekolah bagus ya.
No, I've always
Sekolah kayak gitu di Indonesia.
I've always known just as a good school, but I just didn't know how much she was paying until after I graduated.
Tapi yang menarik tuh kayak menurut gue, schools yang non-international tuh, their parents are very very open to their kids about how much they make. Uang jajan kamu segini dulu ya, soalnya lagi susah.
Iya.
Kayak ya, kita dulu ya, kalau misalnya di JIS kayak, yo, kayak gesek gitu, so you don't know how much you spend.
But not necessarily. I will say, growing up, I never went without, but there was no such thing as like, Mom, I want this, I'll get it. Right?
Yeah, same thing for me. Just because you got the money doesn't mean you gotta spend it.
The only thing where I never had to think about the price, I never had to think about was just my education. That's it.
Sebenarnya nggak se-ekstrim yang kita bayangkan gitu yang kayak.
Bagus.
Tapi lucu sih kayak misalkan anak-anak inter yang privilege banget, mereka nggak sadar kalau mereka tuh sebenarnya kayak dikira semua sekolah seperti ini ada kolam renang yang
Mereka top 3% gitu.
I didn't fully realize, kayak gue nggak tahu kalau international school itu it's not accessible to most people in Indonesia. I didn't know that was a bougie thing. Because I grew up going to international school since I was like born, pretty much, and I just thought, okay, like this is just school, like that's just how it is. And I think it was only until like high school or maybe even college that I was like, oh, there's kayak sekolah negeri, sekolah swasta, sekolah national plus, pesantren, yeah, that stuff. And
What is pesantren?
2 years old, but she knows what pesantren.
Pesantren. First of all, you need to watch more Indonesian TikToks. They'll educate you. Pesantren is an Islamic boarding school, yeah?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's a thing.
Yang kayak agamawis banget gitu.
So when I was growing up, everyone was sort of at the same level. Maybe the only ones I was aware was like people who were richer than me. Like I always thought that I was just like biasa aja. But now I realize like it's not a biasa aja thing to have a car.
Yes.
To have a driver.
Benar.
Like I was going
To have an Alphard on top.
Alphard is a rich, expensive thing.
Ma'am. See, I just say I drive a Toyota.
And that's not a lie, it's just a Toyota Bellfire.
I want to ask you a question juga. Kayak kan ada tadi you said tidak semua J students adalah yang dari misalnya privilege family banget. Ada beberapa yang kayak like their parents give up meat just for their kid to get education di JIS. How do those kids blend in? How do they keep up?
Yeah.
Apakah mereka diskriminasi? Apakah mereka gimana?
No, you know what? I will keep it so real. When it comes to JIS kids, we are a lot of horrible things. But let me tell you, like, with the exception, of course, there are always exceptions. There's always that one asshole walking around thinking he's hot shit because he's got daddy's money and he walking around in Gucci shoes. Like, yeah, sure, there's always gonna be that one asshole. But like the entire, like high school at least, like, we have never, and I've never even heard of it coming from other kids, like shitting on other people because they know that they're much poorer than them. And back to Bishka's point, we're all in high school, we're on this fucking shit show together, we're just trying to graduate, we're just trying to get good grades, we're just trying to go to college. Like, there's no time to be looking at who's rich and who's not and like, you know, giving people shit because of that. I don't give two fucks about whether or not you wearing a Chanel bag or if you wearing a LV bag and I'm, you know, this other person wearing a bag from fucking Manga Dua. Like, we don't even notice.
Well, I do think that luxury and kayak branded items are more of a middle class thing. Kayak middle class people kayak look at that so much. Kayak the importance of wearing luxury brands kayak Balenciaga. Gitu.
Enggak, karena di rumah udah banyak gitu loh. Jadi kayak ya udah aja gitu.
Yeah.
For y'all, gitu.
Because we're so normalized to it, we're desensitized. I don't give a shit how much your fucking Chanel bag costs, honey. I have the exact same one.
Right.
Because again, like we never felt the need to prove our wealth.
Ya itu.
Ya, itu bagus.
Everyone was comfortable in their own wealth because that's not something people looked at.
And because we're comfortable with our own wealth, in the event that we do acknowledge that, oh, this person like does not have the exact same wealth as us, we don't take it out on them. we don't think.
Dan lu
Yeah.
you don't realize juga kalau misalkan mereka tuh di posisi susah gitu.
Actually, yeah, because and like for me, it's because like back in high school, I hang out with a lot of the other, like most of my friends are expats, like are foreigners, right? And they don't come with the chindo money. Their parents, his company, pay for them to go to school and everything. And I have those moments, like especially in sophomore year, which was why that was when I realized I actually did have money and I did have a lot of financial securities, because I'm talking to my friends like, hey, do you want to buy this? And like, oh, do you want to go to this event? Do you want to, you know, go here and like to do all of these things? And then they have to come to me and say like, well, my mom's not really like, you know, she doesn't want me to spend like that much money. We already spent enough like last week, or you know, stuff like that I've never, like my mom's never had to do that to me, and that's when like I realized.
It's kayak beda banget sama orang-orang middle class yang kayak struggle untuk membeli Balenciaga triple S second store, terus kayak tiap hari
atau
kayak
beli dompet Goyard Cepi
sengaja cari yang second terus kayak di-flexin terus gitu, karena kayak menurut gue esensi barang mahal adalah untuk dipamerkan.
I have never, like all my years at JIS, I've never really like looked up and down at a person and like evaluate like how much their outfit was.
That TikTok
That's a middle class thing ya kan.
That's a middle class thing.
I've never once like, you know, I'm about to leave the house terus kayak, aduh outfit gue hari ini kurang mahal gitu. Never.
Apakah perlu dikasih lihat konten Bishka yang membahas soal itu? Rich kids when they realize their outfit is di bawah 100 juta. Oh my god.
Also because I think there's not so much of a priority to social climbing.
Karena kayak in middle,
kalian semua udah di atas.
Iya sih.
In middle
Iya
class,
sih.
orang tuh want to get there. Kalau di international school, everyone is already there.
It's more about your like
It's more about
achievements.
it's more about your achievements. It's more about you are, not what you. Ya ngerti.
Dulu pas di sekolah dulu, pandangan lu terhadap orang yang gak di sekolah internasional apa?
Pas gue masih kecil nih ya, bukan sekarang.
Plebeian anjing.
Gue nggak tahu kalau kayak bisa kayak misalnya anak kelas sekolah inter bisa kayak bahasa Inggris gitu-gitu.
Ya.
So you be like, halo nama saya Bishka gitu. You like,
I wouldn't say like condescending like that, but I
Fuck
feel
talking about.
bisa bahasa
yeah, tapi
Inggris.
like I wouldn't just go up to them and be like, hey, what's up? You know, like it'd be like, oh, halo, namaku Wishka gitu. Padahal mereka bisa bahasa Inggris.
So I'll say for me, and then I'll say for some other people at JIS that I have met. Me personally, I have never looked at a person who I knew did not go to an international school and think like, oh, I'm much better than them. Like it was never like, oh, I'm a better than them thing. It was more so just the English. Like I never expected for them to, one, be able to understand me, and then two, to be able to communicate back to me in coherent English. Like yeah, sure, their grammar would be like a little like off like here and there, but like overall, like we could still communicate in English, and it would just, it's always a shock to me. And I think the worst part is like when I left for college in the States, like there are a lot of Indonesian international students that come to America to study. I would meet Indonesians from outside of Jakarta And I, for some reason, just always had that, I guess you call it implicit bias of like, oh, you can't speak that, you know, your English is not that great. But then it's like, oh, no, they do. They speak good English. And then it's so ironic because like people like us, like, we're not from non-English speaking countries. We go to America or Canada or Australia or the UK, and then they pull the exact same shit on us. They're like, oh, like, you're from...
What is your name?
Yeah, it's like...
I have a story about this. I'll tell you in a minute.
Like, yeah, oh my god, you're from Indonesia. Like, God, but your English is so good. You don't even have an accent.
Jadi kayak lo ngerasa kayak di Indo lo out of place, tapi di luar lo juga out of place.
Low-key flex. I went to a British school, and by the end of my time there, I won the award for spoken English. And I'm just like, all y'all British kids got beat by an Indonesian.
Dan teman-teman itu orang beneran British.
British. It was basically Hogwarts without magic.
But I will say at GIS, there are those kids that they do look at kids that, you know, they don't get to go to an international school, or like especially the ones that go to like the SMA, like SMP, like they look at them and they do have that superiority complex all of a sudden of like, oh, I'm so much better. I actually, like, I knew this one student and they were in my Indonesian class and we had a project, and long story short, they had to interview local Indonesian kids that basically lived in the slums. This person decided, I'm just going to pay them so that like they do my like they would agree to be filmed in the project.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No, I've heard a lot of really just like disgusting shit coming from like some of the other GIS kids, and like how they perceive local Indonesians from schools that we've never even heard of.
Karena mereka tuh ketemu orang lokal tuh cuma supir sama pembantu doang.
Iya.
I'm sure.
What's even worse, some of them are like scared. If I walk down this road or whatever, like if I leave the bubble of my like Alphard and like getting dropped to a bed.
My Alphard.
The bubble of my Alphard.
If I don't have the protection of like my rich environment, like if I step out of that, they'll be like, oh my, am I get attacked? Get someone like rob me? Girl, like you're not that important. They'd be like, oh my gosh, like if I walk alone here, like I'll get kidnapped. I'm like, sweetheart, like I don't know how to break this to you.
Emang ada yang ransom lu gitu.
Yeah, I'm like, do you really think you're that important that you'll get kidnapped?
Kayak banyak gak sih yang komentar kayak lu sok-sokan Inggris banget gitu?
I have like some sort of privilege with this because I look foreign. Jadi gue nggak kelihatan kayak orang Indo. Jadi mereka kayak, oh dia mungkin expat gitu.
Actually, well, to be honest, if I got all this makeup on, they don't. I get the whole foreigner treatment thing.
Kan kalau lihat komen aja entar.
No. A lot of people, I have a feeling they're gonna come at me like, she hasn't spoken one word of Indonesian this entire time. Sok Inggris nih orang. And like,
like your first Indonesian word. Woo!
But like also, I think people are more inclined to say Sok Inggris. Kalau it's clear that English is not their first language, but they just want to speak English.
People don't understand that one. The reason why I don't speak a lot in Indonesian is not because I don't want to speak the language. Honey, I do. I'm not that good at it. My mom never really taught me Indonesian at home because she's a single mom. She was never even home sometimes to like give me food. What more teach me a whole fucking language? To be honest, I do speak pretty good Indonesian. Sebenarnya kalau aku bener-bener paksa mau ngomong bahasa Indonesia tuh aku bisa, but it's not.
Medok banget ya?
Kaget loh.
Wait, please take that out.
Are you Surabaya?
No. No, I'm from Jakarta, bitch.
Okay, but like, why do you speak like that?
I don't know. I think
You
it's.
speak like that.
I feel like it's the combination of just like
It's
people
your
I grew.
mom.
No, my mom's not Medok.
Actually,
Where'd you get this from?
Actually,
People that I grew up.
Whose culture did you appropriate?
kayak gue pengen denger Indah ngomong a full on bahasa Indonesia
Coba,
sentence.
coba.
Dari sana, kan gue nanya pertanyaan.
Iya.
Oh.
Dalam bahasa Indo.
Kan tadi udah ngomong apa pandangan lu pada terhadap orang yang bukan inter. Kalau menurut lu pada orang yang bukan sekolah inter nganggap lu pada gimana?
No.
Oke, bahasa Indo.
Ngomong bahasa Indonesianya tuh logatnya Cinta Laura. Like, ya sebenarnya saya itu orangnya like smart. Cuma kalian tidak tahu saja. Our Indonesian's not that good. Tapi kalau ngomong bahasa Indonesia sebenarnya biasa saja. Cuma mungkin biasanya orang taunya tuh agak kaku karena
Agak kaku.
ya agak kaku aja. Tapi sebenarnya
Gue bacain dulu ya.
Boleh,
Stereotip
silakan.
anak inter dan menurut follower kita. Tajir mampus parah, tajir. Bahasa Inggris mulu, high class lifestyle. Plat RFP.
RFP.
Plat RP itu utarating actually.
What's that?
Harus pakai barang branded.
Plat polisi
Inter
gitu.
karena IB. Main di Q-Bill,
Oh, that's
main
true.
fairgrounds.
So fucking true because y'all don't realize how much shit and like how much we gotta work ourselves to the fucking bone.
IB itu
I have a
apa?
question.
Yeah.
Do you think IB is harder than going from Saragam to Simantupan?
Oh fuck you! Oh fuck you, Bishka!
Lain.
And your white Alphard too.
I don't have an Alphard. I don't know what
You
you're
fucking-
I don't have an Alphard.
Yeah,
I don't have an Alphard.
What do you mean you don't have an Alphard? I walked into your car thinking it was mine.
That's not an Alphard. That's not an Alphard.
It's a Bellfire.
That's a Bellfire.
Nggak pernah makan pecel lele.
Oh, that's true. I've
Have you
never
ever
had.
had- oh, shit.
I've never had pecel lele.
Do you know pecel lele?
It's a
I've
fish.
had pachel,
Yes.
but not lele.
They're two different things.
Yes.
There's like different pachel. Lele is a fish, so I've never had the fish pachel.
What is a pecel?
I don't actually know what a pachel
Culture
is. It's just like okay, it's like a salad.
Do you know gado-gado?
Gado gado, yeah, that's a salad.
I literally just had my. I literally just had my first gado gado last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what do you guys eat? Like what do you guys eat like di food court gitu lo makan apa?
Bakso apung.
Bakso apa?
Tuh, ini pada hate comment semua pada bilang
Of course, y'all be putting hate comments.
tengil, belagu, rasis, sotoy.
Okay, to be honest, I
Racist?
don't
Oke,
understand.
tapi kalau rasis gue bisa disagree banget.
Racist.
Malah, I think the opposite.
It's the opposite.
Bener-bener.
Iya, gue
It's the
setuju.
opposite. Let me tell y'all, we're a lot of horrible things. Sure, the one thing that we are not is racist. You know why? Because we are so used to being with other people of different
Yeah.
ethnicities and races and cultures and religions.
Kalau soal manja, beberapa anak itu tuh saking biasa dengan pembantu dan supir. Temen gue tuh ada yang rumahnya cuma 100 meter, dia pakai supir tiap hari.
100 meter dari sekolah pakai supir.
Kalau pakai supir.
Oh, that's me.
Siapa tuh Pak?
I live in Pandangan. I can walk.
Indah. Itu deket banget anjing. Gini, kan kita udah ngomongin sekarang kayak what they are kan, kayak anak inter gimana. Kira-kira disadvantage-nya apa? Apakah mereka jadi dengan pembantu dan supir yang ada setiap saat jadi lebih spoiled atau gitu?
Sure, yeah. You know what? When I went to college, there was this one Chindo girl. We were in the middle of a move-in week. Little bitch ass had the nerve to call me at like 10 p.m. at night as I was about to go to bed. And she was like, Indah, how do I throw out the trash? Listen, I grew up with maids doing everything for me, drivers driving me all around the place. I still, like, when I like left for college, I knew how to make my bed. I needed help, but that's because I'm short. Even if a lot of me and my friends, like, we grew up with help around the house, but because we see them do it, when it comes down to us having to do it, we know how to like imitate it. I think the strongest thing that Bishka and I have in common is that we both don't come from generational wealth, and so we come from parents that taught us the value of every dollar that they earn and to be careful with it. And I will say, if you talk to other kids that have generational wealth from like their grandfathers, their grandmothers, and like their great like grandparents, they might be of a different like wavelength from me and Bishka right now, because it does also like affect the way that we have been raised, because it affects the way that their parents have been raised. Manja is such a subjective word.
Yeah.
I know Indonesian boys that did not go to international schools and they do not know how to do nothing in the kitchen. They don't know how to cook rice. Sometimes it's like just a per individual and how they were raised at home kind of a thing. All of our parents be looking at us like kids from this generation right now and like looking at all of us like, oh, y'all are spoiled. Back in my time, I had to go to war.
Dengan supir yang banyak dan pembantu yang banyak tuh lebih gampang untuk males.
Well, I think bukan necessarily untuk males, but untuk fokus di hal-hal yang
Iya sih. Ibarat lu kayak manajer kan, lu udah gak ngurusin yang di bawah daily thingsnya gitu kan.
One of the biggest challenges pas baru masuk kuliah buat gue itu kayak time management between kayak personal stuff and school and then my social life.
Iya sih.
And you get better at that. That's kayak adulting kan.
Tapi yang paling kasihan tuh ini nggak sih, kayak peer pressure. Gue ngerasain gitu, kayak teman-teman gue yang jauh lebih kaya dibanding gue, spending money misalkan buat makan sekali 500.000 tuh biasa.
I never felt that way like back in high school. I will say it's after high school when that peer pressure of like rolling with the rich kids and like having to spend as much money as them, like that really kicks in like after college, because after college like you know where you stand socio-economically. Everybody's more cognizant of that. And like the most important thing for me to learn and the most useful thing that I have learned is it boils back down to that mentality of just because you got the money doesn't mean that you got to spend it. And if people are going to have the whole attitude of why you're not spending this? Is it because you're poor? That's a them problem, not a me problem. I know where I stand. Understand the fact that it's your parents' money, like it's not even money that you got access to.
Yeah, like you are not entitled to their money. Sebenarnya kalau mereka nggak cukup baik untuk memberikan semua kepada lu.
Iya, benar sih.
Yeah.
My parents are nice and everything, and like I've never gone without, but I've never felt entitled like I have to have that. Like if they want to buy it for me, like oh thank you, like bless you, you know. But like if they don't want to buy it for me, I'm like okay, that's your business.
A lot of people like they see us like what if we were in luxury like or something, and then what I think the assumption is that we ask for it. Like nah, you don't. You do realize like a lot of these rich parents, they offer or like they don't even offer at first. Or like they have like they legit like they buy it for us and we are forced to take it because what else are we gonna do? Throw it out the fucking window? No, they already bought it. Might as well use it.
It's like a nice gesture. Like
Yeah.
my mom buys
dipaksa
me
pakai Hermes sama mama gue, aduh.
Nggak paksa sih nggak, nyokap gue nggak pernah kayak paksa.
Ya,
Bitch,
paksa sih
kayak
nggak.
pakai ini like you know malu kalau kamu nggak pakai barang-barang. Nggak. Never felt that.
Nanti diomongin sama ibu sebelah.
My mom is like that, but not in the whole like you have to wear branded, but you just gotta like wear nice.
If let's say misalnya temen gue pakai what's like a high luxury thing. Again, the Gucci sneakers. That's the only thing I can do. The Ace Gucci sneakers. All my friends got their little Ace Gucci sneakers. I'm like, Mom, I want to buy Gucci sneakers. My mom's like, why? Maybe she thinks they're ugly atau apa gitu. Like, yaudah, like, and I'd be like, no, all my friends have it. Kayak malu, you know, masa I'm the only one wearing like I don't know Nike. And then I feel like my mom would be like, no, like that's a you problem. Like you gotta change your mindset, you know.
Yes.
See,
That's a you problem.
My mom is the complete opposite because my mom is the one who's gonna be thinking that way. She's gonna be seeing like all of my girlfriends, like if they got the little black Chanel bag and I don't have it, so she's gonna be like, do you want me to buy it for you? Because all your friends got it, I see it.
Yeah.
Do you want it?
Kamu jangan malu-maluin mama, masa kamu pakai tas kayak begitu sih?
My parents have always been like, kalau kita minta maksa, nggak mungkin dapet. Kayak kalau semuanya tuh datang kalau dengan gampang, kayak gue tinggal nunjuk, gue pergi Hermes kayak mama, ini semua mau angkat gitu, kayak what's the point? Gue juga jadi nggak seneng.
That's why there is such a drive for us to want to prove ourselves that we can do things on our own because we've always had so much given to us. Now let's see like what we can do for ourselves, and that's something that not a lot of people understand because all people see is that you have a wealthy mom and you afford nice things. Like I know where my mom comes from and she like could not even afford like nearly even half of the things that I've always afforded, and so it's always been the guilt of like, one, do I deserve it? And then it's like I have a lot of other friends that don't afford the exact same things as me, and like I see how hard they work and I see how hard their like families work, and like and it sucks that I can't do nothing about it, you know.
See, for me, I have a different mindset. I used to feel like that a lot. I'm like, man, like I don't deserve anything, but now I think, you know, everyone's dealt their own set of cards.
Yeah.
You know. And like, okay, yes, I have the financial privilege that my parents have provided for me, but there's a lot of other shit that people don't know about, that I don't talk about, that I have to deal with.
Money isn't everything.
Money is really not everything.
Orang yang belum punya duit, mereka mikir duit itu segalanya bisa solve every problem.
Termasuk gue mikir gitu.
Tapi kayak jujur aja ya, kayak gue ngerti banget where it comes from karena pada saat kita tidak punya duit, kita merasa bahwa duit bisa solve everything.
Enggak,
Karena
kalau gue lebih mikir duit itu membuka pilihan.
Itu ya.
Sure.
Money is freedom and money is really really important. So
Dan
I'm
jadi kayak
really thankful.
lu nggak terjebak gitu loh untuk menyelesaikan masalah.
Iya.
Bukan berarti okay just because I have this life gue harus kayak
Masalah lu digantung gitu kan.
masalah gue doesn't mean I don't have problems, and also doesn't mean kayak I have to go around really apologizing for my wealth. Like okay, I'm thankful. Gue nggak pamer. Yang penting gue nggak pamer, gue nggak menjatuhkan orang.
Benar.
Dan dengan apa yang gue punya, I'll use it for good gitu.
Lu dapat networking benefit bukan dari duit doang atau kayak orang tuanya kaya, tapi kayak lu dapat banyak perspektif kayak misalkan dari orang luar negeri gitu.
Iya.
Exactly, yeah.
Itu sih. Nah.
Like I'm lucky because of my educational background that like pretty much wherever I go in the world, I have a couch I can crash on. I have friends all over the world.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
The beauty of our education is not only how it's envisioned us to see what the future could look like, but to actually then graduate and go out there and see what that future really does look like, in hopes that some of us will come back to the country and communities that raised us and bring back some of that, what we've seen outside, back here, so that people also like in our community have to
enjoy that.
like you said. Just his motto is best for the world. Not only, seeing what the world has to offer us, but what we can offer the world. But that doesn't mean kind of like spreading ourselves thin and like trying to be everywhere all at the same time. It means taking a little bit of what's out there in the world and bringing it back to our world over here. And that is the hope of sending kids like me, Indonesian citizens, to international students, is that I come back here and I would give back to this country eventually. In conclusion, buy my book because I talk a lot about this in the book.
Apa book lo?
Transient, The Bridge Between Worlds. This bitch is in it.
There's a quote by me.
There's a quote by her.
Yang bisa gue tangkap dari this conversation adalah kayak international school kids of course aren't all that bad. Karena dari question
Thank you.
dari question box lo aja udah kelihatan kayak ada outrageous hate. Padahal sebenarnya
Intinya mereka mikirnya pretentious aja.
Pretentious banget karena kayak
We're not shallow.
Tidak melihat the values that are taught, tapi cuma ngelihat dari kayak kaya, sombong, misalnya gitu kan.
We're really not a monolith. We're not assholes. We're not shallow. We don't shit on people that are lower than us. And like
There's so much,
Lower physically,
there's so much we have to offer, and there's so much that we do offer.
yeah. Also, I don't know if we got the time for this, but I just also want to say, like, when you grow up with parents and other people within your social environment that do shit on people just because they're poorer than you and who are shallow and who are entitled, you learn a lot too of who you want to be by looking at the people that you don't want to be.
Yes, there were a lot of pretentious people that I grew up with, but like, I decided, you know what, that's not gonna be me. And I'm just like, you know what, I'm not gonna be the kind of person who values people based on who their parents are and how much money they
Bener
have.
sih, karena kayak mindset lu adalah misalnya kayak like tadi yang lu bilang kayak my parents money is my parents money.
I value people
Which-
based on what they can offer to the world and their values.
Thank you juga buat Batavia udah ngasih kita, ngirimin buat kita nyobain. Enak banget. Harus cobain.
Okay, thank you guys. See you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.